So you have decided that you want to start a poultry farm. You are wondering, should you lease land or should you buy land? In this video, I'll be able to explain to you what is the best option that you can be able to start with, so as you can be able to benefit in the poultry sector. When you're starting a poultry farm, you don't have enough money. Or maybe, most of you can have enough money. They can have a lot of money. But what should I tell you? Do you either lease land or do you go ahead and buy the land? In this video, I'm going to explain to you why you should either lease or buy, and what is the best option for a starter, so as you can be able to start a poultry farming venture successfully. The first thing that you have to do, for example, should you be able to lease land or buy land? My opinion is that you should lease land. For example, if you are rearing the broilers are very fast maturing kind of birds. They usually mature at a span of between 35 to 42 days. They will be ready for the market. So if you are rearing the broilers, what you have to do, you have to make sure that you are only doing the leasing of the land. Because if you do the leasing of the land, then you can be able to construct temporal structures. And what are such kind of temporal structure? A temporal structure is something like this. You don't have to be able to create a concrete floor on a piece of land that you have leased. If you are rearing these birds, for example, for the broilers, or these birds for the purposes of meat, that will only mature in a span of 3 months. For example, if it is for this kind of birds, which are maturing 10 to 12 weeks of age, then you have to only lease land. If you are able to lease land, you can construct such a structure, a very modest kind of structure, whereby on this platform you don't need a concrete floor. So what you do, you only construct it and you use these wood pallets and you use wire mesh. You can decide to use the wire mesh that is made out of plastic, so as it cannot hurt the feet of the chicken. And also there's some small kind of plastic. I will post a photo here so as you can be able to understand what I'm talking about. Those kind of plastic mesh that you can use on the floor of that poultry house. If you're able to construct such a poultry house, it is good for people like me who are a bit lazy, who don't want to get up each time and check on the floor of the chicken in case the chicken have pooped into the wood shavings, and this can lead to some diseases like the fall typhoid or fall cholera or coccidiosis even. So if I decide to construct such a poultry house on my poultry farm, then you'll be able to alleviate yourself from such kind of diseases. And why am I saying this poultry house is way better than other kind of poultry house? Because if one chicken gets infected with any kind of infection, what it does, it poops its poop, and when it poops its poop, all the poop go down on the floor over here. So meaning you can see the poop over there, that there is no place or there is no environment that is way better for incubation of the diseases in that poultry farm. So if you have a house that is enclosed or the deep litter one, you end up finding out that when the chicken poops, for example, if one chicken gets sick and it poops on the floor of that chicken house, and then for example, it has an infection, and another chicken comes and eats from that place and it scratches that place and it eats that poop of that chicken, it also gets infected and it poops. So 2 chicken pooping can lead to a multiplication whereby you can find that 4 chicken are sick. 4 chicken pooping can lead to a multiplication whereby you can find more than 20 chicken are sick. So it usually goes that way. But if you have such a kind of house, you only find out that if one chicken gets sick, that chicken is the only chicken that will get affected, because when it poops, the poop, they don't mix with each other, or another chicken can't get to eat that contaminated poop. And that is how you'll be able to make profits out of this venture if you are doing such kind of farming. And that's why I keep on saying, if you want to do profitable poultry farming business, you have to make sure that you are leasing your land and you're constructing such a poultry house. Because if you are leasing your land, for example, if you want to start a poultry farm and you want to set up a poultry house will cost you money. If you decide to purchase land before you are able to construct your poultry house, you'll find out that the land would take a lot of money out of you. So what the best thing that you have to do, you have to make sure that you are leasing land. After you have leased land, then you can construct. Make sure when you are leasing your land, you have to get a contract of between 3 to 5 years. Between 3 to 5 years, if you're doing the broiler farming or these kind of improved kienyeji breed whereby you're only rearing this chicken for the purposes of meat, then you'll be able to multiply your wealth in a very faster rate. Because if you decide to purchase land, okay, and you want to set up like 5,000 chicken, that money that you would have used to invest so as you can be able to raise chicken, you will find out that you're only rearing around 500 chicken, because a lot of money will go into you purchasing the land. We don't want you to waste a lot of money in you purchasing the land. We want this business to make money for you, so as this business for itself can be able to purchase land whereby you can be able to expand your poultry farm. So if you really want to start a poultry farm in 2025 and you're wondering, should I be able to purchase land or should I just start by leasing a land whereby I can be able to construct a poultry house? I even saw there in America whereby they have these chicken structures whereby they only raise this chicken free range outside. So if you are able even to lease a bigger land like that, you can be able to do free range poultry farming. Okay, because if you decide to purchase a bigger land, for example like 5 acres, and you're not doing free range poultry farming, it will cost you a lot, millions and millions of Kenyan shillings. So if you decide to lease land and you get into a contract, make sure you're getting a reputable lawyer. There are some lawyers out there who are not good, so make sure you're getting yourself with a deal from a reputable lawyer and you sign a contract whereby you'll lease that land, for example, for that period I've said 5 years. If you're able to do serious poultry farming for 5 years and you're constructing such a cheap poultry house only using iron sheets and wood planks and some wire mesh, I've said you can use the plastic wire mesh so as you can only be able to hatch the chicken. And also, for example, if you're making for the brooder, there's a way of how you can be able to construct that brooder by use of also the wire mesh, so as you can prevent the chicks also from getting diseases on your poultry farm. If you follow all those things, then you'll be able to make a lot of money out of this venture, and that is the only thing that you want to do. But if you decide and go the way whereby you have to decide that I have to purchase land so as you can be able to start a poultry farm in 2025, you won't be able to make a lot of money out of this venture, because a lot of money will go into the purchase of the land. Okay, that is the first thing that you have to do. But if you decide that you want to rear the layers, you can also decide if you want to make that business get its own money, so as it can be able to finance itself all the way up. Don't get over ambitious. I usually sometimes chicken can excite you and you get too ambitious. Okay, because I had someone they text me on WhatsApp. Okay, I usually also put this number over here, so as guys can ask me questions that I've not posted in my videos. But you end up finding out some guys are asking me questions that are all in my videos. So please make sure that you watch my videos up to the end, so as you can get the knowledge of what you really want to know in the poultry sector. Okay, because when you ask me something out of this channel, I usually charge some consultation fee. I don't feel afraid for the consultation, because anywhere you go, even when you're going to the hospitals, when you're going to see your doctor, you usually pay some small consultation fee. So as you can be able to get that knowledge that I got for a very long time, I sacrificed a lot, you're getting it in a very short while. So if you really need to do proper poultry farming business, you have to make sure that you are following the right things that I'm saying in these videos. So on the part of ambitions, you find out that a client has started with like 500 chicken and is saying like, by the end of this year I want to have 100,000 chicken. Okay, it is good to have a goal, but sometimes don't get too over ambitious, because when you get too over ambitious, you can overstretch yourself. You can end up finding out that maybe you have decided to purchase like 2,000 day-old chicks, so as you can raise them for the purposes of eggs, or you can raise them for the purposes of meat. But you end up finding out that the money that you have in your bank account, or the money that you can get, so as it can be able to keep the chicken very well, it is that it can only be able to manage like 500 chicken properly. So you end up overstretching yourself, you end up getting into bad debts, and this can lead you to having a downfall in the poultry sector. You have to do the proper calculations, so as you can be able to know the required number of chicken that you can be able to rear, so as you don't get into debt. Because when you get into debt, for example, and maybe you have decided to start with a huge number like 2,000 birds, and you don't have the proper knowledge in the poultry sector, then you end up finding out that those chicken can end up dying. Then maybe you are thinking that you'll be able to get money out of that business, but you realize that instead of you getting money out of that business, you have gotten a loss. So the money that you had borrowed from the bank, the chicken are dead, so you have to pay the bank, and you don't have the money to pay the bank. So you see, you have gotten too overambitious and you have overstretched yourself, and maybe you don't have the proper knowledge in the poultry sector. And that's why I usually tell you, don't be afraid to consult me, because if you consult me, then I can be able to help out. Even if I won't be able to help you 100%, but I can be able to help you 90% of the time. If I help you 90% of the time, I know you yourself, you can be able to help yourself 10% of the time. And God can overshower us with more blessings of over 100% of the time. So if you really want to get into the poultry sector, you have to do your calculations right. If you don't do your calculations right and get too overambitious into the poultry sector, you want to purchase a bigger land so as you can be able to construct a bigger poultry house. If you don't do your mathematics right, then you'll find out that you have purchased land, you have a very big poultry house. And what does that turn up to? It becomes a white elephant. You have very big things, you have a very big farm, but you don't have chicken in the poultry house. So you have to make sure that you do the calculations right. And I usually give you the budget, the breakdown. As you know, I'm an actuary, so I'm so good with numbers. So I'll be able to do a proper arithmetic for you so as you can be able to understand and budget yourself so as you can be able to start something profitable. Okay? So with my knowledge in the actuarial sector and also my knowledge in the agricultural sector and the poultry sector, I'll be able to give you something that can enable you to become successful in the venture. So that's why you should be able to consult me. Don't feel afraid, because I know if you consult me, you'll have a bigger fruits in your venture. And we want you poultry farmers to have bigger fruits. We want you to be able to make a lot of money out of this venture. Okay? So as I have said, lease land. Don't purchase land. If you're purchasing land, that means that you have enough money so as you can be able, you have to do proper budgeting. That is the only thing I can say, because chicken can excite you. And when it excites you and you decide that you want to keep a lot of chicken. For example, let me say you have decided and you have kept a lot of chicken. And those chicken, you end up, maybe they are not faced by any kind of disease, but you end up finding out that you have kept those chicken and you have run out of food. Then they will have, for example, if you are keeping for the purposes of meat, for example, for the chicken that should take like 10 to 12 weeks, you are finding out that they are taking over to 16 to 18 weeks so as they can be able to reach the market size, the market weight. Or for example, if it is for the laying hens, you may end up finding out, instead of your chicken to start to lay at 20 weeks of age, you find out that your chicken have delayed laying and they start to lay at 26 weeks of age. 1.5 months of feeding your chicken and losing productivity. Why should you do that? Why don't you just consult? If you consult and follow the right things, then you can be able to plan yourself properly. Poultry farming is not just a plug and play. You have to be able to understand the nitty-gritties in the sector. If you're able to understand the nitty-gritties in the sector, you're able to understand the market, you're able to understand the breed of chicken that you have to keep in your area so as you can become profitable, then you'll be able to make money. But if you gamble around, you know how gambling works. If you gamble around with your money, okay, you can call yourself the master or the mistress or the maestro. But if you gamble around with your money, then you know what comes around. You're only having a 33% chance of you winning. So why should you have a 33% chance of you winning, and yet you can have a 67% chance of you winning? Why shouldn't you try and have a 67% chance of you winning? So make sure you're following the right procedures of how you can be able to rear poultry farming. And I have said, if you're starting poultry farming and you have a little money and you want to grow faster, lease land. If you lease land and you have a better contract, that money that you would have used to purchase land, you'll use it in your stock. Okay? For example, if you're purchasing land worth 1 million, that can be able to can enable you to raise 1,000 chicken up to the point of lay, 1,000 to 1,200 chicken up to the point of lay. So if you are able to raise such kind of chicken and they produce for you the eggs, okay? Now, so here is the trick. They produce for you the eggs. You enjoy the fruits of the eggs. When these chicken get tired and you want to off-lay them, you sell each chicken at that price that you want to purchase the land. You'll have gotten profit out of the business, and yet you have the money. Okay? You still have the money that can enable you to purchase land. So instead of you purchasing the land at that moment, you can make money out of that business. Remember, time value of money. You can make money out of that business and still get your money back. So if there's something cheaper, why go for the expensive part? Eat your pride and make money in the poultry sector. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next one.